Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. The Rock made his first WWE appearance since Bad Blood last night on Raw, but he was only there to put over Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and the company's move to Netflix. Many fans believed that he would play a part in the tribal combat match and could have cost one of the men. However, he didn't include himself in any of the storylines and left after he handed the Eula Fala to Roman Reigns. Ahead of his departure, Rock was shown backstage embracing Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. It was also evident that when Triple H attempted to give him a handshake, he was ignored. The Great One was focused on Roman and didn't see Triple H hold out his hand, so the WWE CKO was forced to just put his hand down and act like it didn't happen. The Rock obviously didn't do it on purpose, but many fans have shared the video online and found it to be one of the most humorous clips of the night. The Brahma Bull was later seen backstage in his car, leaving the arena, where he announced that he would be part of tonight's New Year's Evil event. The announcement that the Great One would be on NXT was a surprise to the WWE Universe, but it seems that he could be making the trip to the Shrine for tonight's show to see his daughter Ava, who is working as the general manager of NXT. His daughter has been part of WWE for several years, initially working as a wrestler and a member of the Schism before the group disbanded in 2023. Ava Raine then became Ava and has been calling the shots on NXT in recent years, even being endorsed by former general manager William Regal. It was a night like no other on WWE Raw. Fans packed into the arena, their excitement palpable, knowing that anything could happen in the unpredictable world of professional wrestling. But the drama that would unfold backstage was something no one could have anticipated. In a world where rivalries are as much a part of the show as the matches themselves, a backstage incident involving two of the biggest stars in WWE history would become the talk of the locker room. The Rock, the Brahma Bull, the People's Champion. Dwayne Johnson was the undeniable king of charisma, the undisputed master of the microphone. Whether he was electrifying the crowd or flexing his muscles on the big screen, The Rock's larger-than-life persona commanded respect. But on this particular night, the electrifying aura was strangely absent as he walked down the hall backstage at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Triple H, the Game, the cerebral assassin, the King of Kings, a man whose legacy in the WWE is cemented in every accolade and championship title imaginable. He, too, was one of the company's biggest stars, whose ability to manipulate backstage politics and bend the rules to his will made him a force to be reckoned with. But on this fateful Raw, something seemed off. The Rock, for reasons unknown, had ignored Triple H, and the cameras had caught it all. It began innocuously enough. Triple H was standing near a catering table, chatting with a few of the younger superstars, exchanging stories of the business, sharing insights into the craft of wrestling. His eyes lit up when he saw The Rock enter the hallway, making his way toward the locker room. A smile crept across his face as he stepped forward, ready to engage in one of their trademark back and forths, the kind that had punctuated so many moments in WWE history. As Triple H approached The Rock, offering a friendly nod and a wave, The Rock didn't acknowledge him. He kept walking, not even a flicker of recognition in his eyes. The Game stopped in his tracks, his face momentarily betraying his surprise. The Rock, who had once been his fierce rival, his tag team partner, his fellow superstar in the Attitude Era and beyond, had just passed him by, without so much as a glance. Triple H, ever the professional, didn't let the moment linger. He shrugged it off and turned back to the group, but the situation was far from normal. Word spread quickly throughout the locker room, whispers turning into full-blown conversations as superstars speculated on the cause of the awkward encounter. Some believed it was just a misunderstanding, a momentary lapse in awareness, but others, those with a keener sense of the politics of the business, began to suspect there was more at play. What the cameras hadn't shown was the backstage tension that had been brewing for months between The Rock and Triple H. While the two men had shared countless matches and moments in the past, their relationship was always a delicate balance of respect and rivalry. They had fought each other in some of the most iconic bouts in WWE history, but behind the scenes, there was more than just mutual admiration. The competitive nature of both men had always been an undercurrent, and recently, it had boiled over in ways that no one had expected. For months, whispers of a backstage feud had circulated. The Rock, having transitioned to a successful Hollywood career, had returned to WWE only sporadically, and when he did, it was usually for the big pay-per-view events. His limited appearances were met with applause from the fans, but also grumbling from some of the veterans, including Triple H. The Game had been a constant presence, building the company alongside Vince McMahon, leading the charge in the locker room, and cementing his place as one of the all-time greats. The Rock, on the other hand, was perceived by some as a man who had abandoned the company for fame and fortune in Hollywood, hopping in only when it suited him. The tension between them had been palpable in the weeks leading up to that Raw. Triple H had made subtle comments about The Rock's part-time schedule, about his ability to waltz in and out of WWE whenever he pleased. The Rock, in return, had taken jabs at Triple H's perceived old guard mentality, subtly mocking the way he held onto his position in the company. It was a rivalry born of pride, ego, and the insatiable hunger to be the top dog in WWE. But on that night, The Rock's refusal to acknowledge Triple H in person was a statement, one that spoke louder than words could ever express. The backstage fallout was immediate. Triple H, never one to take a slight lightly, was frustrated, but he kept his emotions in check, at least publicly. He knew that maintaining composure was important in a situation like this, but his patience was wearing thin. He found himself questioning his own role in WWE, wondering if his commitment to the company had been taken for granted. The Rock, on the other hand, seemed entirely unaffected by the incident. He went about his business, preparing for his match later that night with the same swagger and confidence that had always defined him. As the night wore on, the atmosphere backstage became charged with an unspoken tension. Everyone was talking about the incident, and whispers about the potential for a confrontation between the two men ran rampant. Some speculated that Triple H might seek out The Rock for a face-to-face discussion, but others feared that the animosity would only grow. A confrontation backstage was inevitable. It was just a matter of when. That moment came later in the evening, as The Rock was walking down the same hallway once more, preparing for his match. Triple H stepped into view, blocking his path. The two men stood there, inches apart, the air crackling with tension. "You think you can just ignore me?" Triple H's voice was low, his eyes cold. The Rock looked up, his signature smirk spreading across his face. "What? You mad, bro?" Triple H took a step closer, his temper flaring. "You've got a lot of nerve, Rock. I've been here, busting my ass, keeping this company afloat, and you stroll in and act like you're the king of everything. You think I don't notice?" For a long moment, The Rock didn't respond, his face unreadable. Finally, he let out a chuckle. "Listen, Triple H, you've got your thing. I've got mine. You're still here, trying to hold it all together, and I respect that. But don't expect me to play by your rules. I do things my way." Triple H's jaw clenched, but he nodded slowly. "Maybe you've forgotten who made this place what it is. Maybe it's time you remembered." With that, Triple H stepped aside, letting The Rock pass. The tension had not been resolved, but the unspoken understanding was clear. Both men were too big for WWE to let their feud fester too long. In the weeks that followed, the story would become one of WWE's most intriguing subplots. The Rock and Triple H would continue to coexist, but the moment of tension would serve as a reminder that even the biggest stars can have personal rivalries that play out in ways the audience may never fully understand. Their complicated relationship would become another chapter in the ever-evolving drama of WWE, one that proved that, in the world of professional wrestling, ego and pride are just as important as the title belts they fight for.